Designed to help you fall asleep. Find us on snoozecast.com and follow us on social media and wherever you listen to podcasts. Our current goal is to get to 100 written reviews on the podcast app to help new listeners find us. If you haven't subscribed and written a review yet, please do. We get closer to our goal every week. Your reviews continue to amaze us, and we learn from your feedback as well. So thank you for taking the time to share. This episode is supported by Special Slow-Paced Meals with Friends. Tonight, we'll be reading Thanksgiving recipes and sample menus from a magazine called American Cookery, published in 1921. This periodical was formerly titled less succinctly, the Boston Cooking School Magazine of Culinary Science and Domestic Economics. Let's get cozy. Close your eyes. Relax your body into the softness of your bed. Now, take a few deep breaths. Seasonable and Tested Recipes by Janet M. Hill and Mary D. Chambers. Potage Parmentier. Cook the well-washed white stalks of 2 or 3 leeks, sliced lengthwise, in 2 tablespoons of fat in a saucepan, and allow to remain over the fire for 5 or 6 minutes, or until slightly colored. Add 4 large potatoes, pared and sliced, 1 quart of cold water, and 2 teaspoonfuls of salt. Cover and cook for 20 minutes after the water boils. Strain out the potatoes and leeks and press through a colander. Thicken the water by adding 1/4 a cup of flour, blended with 2 tablespoons of butter or a substitute. Stir until it has boiled for 1 minute. Add 1/2 a teaspoonful of white pepper. Stir into it the potato puree and let the whole come to a boil. Pour into a tureen and add 1/2 a cup of rich cream, a cup of well-browned croutons, and a few chervil leaves, or the green leaves of cress, or any preferred herb. The addition of the 1/2 cup of rich cream is essential to the soup parmentier. Potato and peanut sausages. Mix 1 cup of roasted and fine ground peanuts with 1 cup and 1/2 of highly seasoned mashed potatoes. Add 1 beaten egg and form the mixture into small sausage-shaped rolls, rolling each one in flour. Roll on a hot pan, greased with bacon fat, or bake in a very hot oven until the outside of the sausages is lightly browned. Pile in the center of a dish and garnish with curls of toasted bacon placed on a border of shredded lettuce. Roast turkey. Clean, stuff, and truss a 12-pound turkey that, when cooked, may rest on the wings level on the platter, the drumsticks close to the body. Rub all over with salt and dredge with flour. Cover the breast with thin slices of salt pork. Set on a rack in a baking pan. A double roaster gives best results. Turn often, at first, to sear over and brown evenly. For the first half hour, the oven should be hot. Then lower the heat and finish the cooking in an oven in which the fat in the pan will not burn. Cook until the joints are easily separated. It will require 3 hours and a half. Add no water or broth to the pan during cooking. For basting, use the fat that comes from the turkey during cooking. Turkey stuffing. Add 1 teaspoonful of salt, 1/4 a teaspoonful of pepper, and 1 tablespoonful and 1/2 of poultry seasoning to 3 cups of cracker crumbs. Mix thoroughly and add 3/4 a cup of melted butter. Garnish the roast turkey with stuffed onions. Parboil 8 choice onions about 1 hour. Remove from the water and cut out a circular piece from the top of each to form cups. Chop fine the pieces of onion. Add an equal measure of cold cooked ham, salt and pepper to season, 1/4 a cup each of fine soft crumbs and melted butter, and mix thoroughly. Season the inside of the cups with salt. Then stuff with the prepared mixture. Bake slowly about half an hour, basting with melted butter. Serve decorated with celery tips. Oyster and onion puree. Steam 1 pound of white onions, and when tender, sift through a colander. Cook 1 quart of oysters in their liquor until the gills separate. Strain and chop the oysters in a chopping bowl. Return the liquor to the saucepan and cook with 3 tablespoonsful of flour and 3 tablespoonsful of softened butter rubbed together, stirring constantly until well thickened and smooth. Season with 1 teaspoonful and 1/2 of salt and 1/2 a teaspoonful of pepper. Sift into the onion pulp 1/4 a cup of flour and stir until blended. Add 1/4 a teaspoonful of celery seed and 1 bay leaf and mix with the thickened oyster liquor. Stir until the whole becomes a boil and the puree is thick as porridge. Add the chopped oysters and 1 pint of thin cream. Let heat through and serve with oysterettes, saltines, or other plain crackers. Salmon a la Creole. Clean and scale a small salmon. Stuff with 1/2 a loaf of stale bread moistened with hot water. Season with 1/4 a cup of butter, salt and pepper to taste, and 1/2 a cup of capers. Mix all well and bind with 1 beaten egg. Place the salmon on the rack of a baking pan in a very hot oven. Cover with thin slices of bacon and let cook until done. Serve on a bed of chopped fresh mushrooms, cooked in a little bouillon, and garnish the dish with small, fresh tomatoes. Brother Jonathan, make a mush of yellow cornmeal and mold in cylindrical molds, such as baking powder boxes or brown bread molds. Let stand until next day and cut into slices. Arrange the slices on a large porcelain pie plate in pyramidal form, sprinkling each layer with some sharp, hard cheese, grated, and seasoned with a very little red pepper. Sift buttered crumbs freely over the whole, brown in a hot oven, and serve as a vegetable with fish, with sour grape jelly melted and poured over it. Plymouth succotash. Boil, separately, 1 chicken and 4 pounds of corned beef. The next day, remove meat and fat from both kettles of liquid. Combine liquids. Season with salt, if needed, and pepper. When boiling, add 5 quarts of hulled corn. Remove to slow fire and let simmer 3 hours. Have ready 3 pints of New York pea beans that have been soaked 12 hours. Boiled until soft and strained through a sieve. Add to soup for thickening. Boil 1 yellow turnip or 2 white turnips and 6 potatoes. When done, add to succotash. This recipe makes 8 quarts. New England salad. Dress flowerets of cold cooked cauliflower with oil, salt, pepper, and vinegar. From cold cooked beets, remove the top and center portions to make beet cups. Arrange the prepared cauliflower to fill cups. Pour over boiled salad dressing and arrange a heart of celery in each filled beet cup. Apple mint jelly for roast lamb. Cut the apples in quarters, removing imperfections. Barely cover with boiling water. Put on a cover and let cook, undisturbed, until soft throughout. Turn into a bag and drain. For a quart of this apple juice, set 1 1/2 pounds of sugar on shallow dishes in the oven to heat. Set the juice over the fire with the leaves from a bunch of mint. Let cook 20 minutes, then strain into a clean saucepan. Heat to the boiling point, add the hot sugar, and let boil till the syrup, when tested, jellies slightly on a cold dish. Tint with green color paste very delicately. Have ready 3 to 5 custard cups on a cloth in a pan of boiling water. Let the glasses be filled with the water. Pour out the water and turn in the jelly. When cooled a little, remove to table. Marinated cutlets. Cut 1 pound of the best end of neck of mutton into cutlets, allowing 2 cutlets for each bone. Beat them with a cutlet bat and trim them neatly. Let them soak for an hour in a marinade made by mixing 6 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, half a teaspoonful of salt, 6 bruised peppercorns, a minced onion, a sprig of thyme, and a bay leaf. At the end of the hour, drain the cutlets and dredge them with flour to dry them. Brush over each one with beaten egg and roll it in breadcrumbs. Repeat the egging and breadcrumbing a second time and, if possible, leave them for an hour for the crumbs to dry on. Half fill a deep pan with frying fat, and when it is heated, so as to give off a pale blue vapor, place the cutlets carefully in the pan, and when they float on top of the fat and are of a rich brown color, they are sufficiently cooked and must be taken from the fat and drained on kitchen paper before being served, or on a mound of mashed potatoes, green peas, French beans, or Brussels sprouts. Veal cutlets, fillets of beef, fillets of whitefish, or cutlets of cod are excellent when prepared by the same method. Thanksgiving corn cake. Sift together 2 cups of cornmeal, 2 cups of white flour, 4 heaping teaspoonfuls of baking powder, 1 level teaspoonful of soda, 1 teaspoonful of salt, and 1/2 a cup of sugar. Add 1 cup of sour milk gradually, 3/4 cup of sour cream, 4 eggs, and 1/3 a cup of melted butter. Thanksgiving pudding. Beat the yolks of 4 eggs, add 1 pint of soft bread crumbs, 1 cup of sugar, the grated rind of a lemon, 1 teaspoonful of salt, and 1 cup of large table raisins from which the seeds have been removed. Mix all together thoroughly, then add 1 quart of rich milk. Bake in a very moderate oven until firm in the center. When the pudding has cooled somewhat, beat the whites of 4 eggs dry. Beat in 1/2 a cup of sugar and spread or pipe the meringue over the pudding. Dredge with granulated sugar and let cook in a very moderate oven about 15 minutes. The oven should be of such heat that the meringue does not color until the last few minutes of cooking. Coffee fruit punch. Add 1/2 a cup of fine ground coffee to 1 cup of cold water. Bring very slowly to a boil and let simmer for 10 minutes. Strain, allow grounds to settle, decant, and add 1 cup of sugar. Mix 1/2 a cup of sifted strawberry preserve with the juice of 2 lemons, the juice of 3 oranges, and the grated rind of 1, and 1/2 a cup of pineapple juice. Let the whole stand together for half an hour, then strain, add the coffee, a quarter more of Vichy, or any preferred sparkling water, and serve in tall glasses filled 1/3 full with shaved ice. Garnish each with a thin strip of candied angelica. Sweet cider frap. Make a syrup by boiling 1 cup of sugar and 2 cups of water 15 minutes. Add 1 quart of sweet cider and 1/2 a cup of lemon juice. When cool, freeze, using equal parts of ice and salt. Serve with roast turkey or roast pork. Fig and cranberry pie. Chop 1/2 a pound of figs and cook until tender in a pint of water. Add a pint of cranberries and cook until they pop. Mix 1 cup of sugar with 4 tablespoons of flour and stir into the fig and cranberry mixture. Let boil, remove from fire, and stir in 2 tablespoonsful of butter and the juice of 1/2 a lemon. Put into a pastry shell. Arrange strips of paste in a basket pattern over the top. and bake until these are browned. Dry deviled parsnips. Wash and scrape, not pare, 3 large parsnips, cut in halves lengthwise, and place, cut side uppermost, on the grate of a rather hot oven to bake for 30 to 40 minutes, or until soft and lightly browned. Soften 1/2 a cup of butter without melting it, and rub it into the following mixture: 2 teaspoonsful of salt, 4 tablespoonsful of dry mustard, 1/2 a teaspoonful of cayenne, 1 teaspoonful of white pepper, and flour enough to stiffen the paste. When the parsnips are cooked, make 4 slanting cuts in each of the halves, and fill each with as much of the paste as it will hold. Spread over the flat side with the remainder of the paste. Arrange on the serving dish. Sift fine buttered crumbs over them, and place under the gas flame or on the upper rack of an oven until crumbs are brown. King's pudding with apple jelly sauce. Soak overnight 1/2 a cup of well-washed rice and cook in 1 pint of milk in double boiler until very tender. Mix this with 3 cups of applesauce, well sweetened and flavored with cinnamon. Add the beaten yolks of 2 eggs, 1 ounce each of candied citron and orange peel, very fine chopped, and 1/2 a cup of raisins. Add the last thing, the whites of the eggs, beaten to the stiffest possible froth. Line a deep dish with a good plain paste. Pour in the pudding. Bake until both paste and pudding top are brown. Invert on serving dish and pour the sauce over it. Cranberry tart. Spread a round of paste over an inverted pie plate. Prick the paste with a fork 8 times. Bake to a delicate brown. Remove the paste from the plate. Wash the plate and set the pastry inside. When cold, fill with a cold, cooked cranberry filling and cover the filling with a top pastry crust made by cutting paste to a paper pattern and baking in a pan. Arrange tart just before serving. Cooked cranberry filling. Mix together 3 level tablespoons of cornstarch, 3/4 a teaspoonful of salt, and 1 cup and 1/2 of sugar. Pour on 1 cup and 1/2 of boiling water and stir until boiling. Then add 1/3 a cup of molasses, 2 teaspoonsful of butter, and 3 cups of cranberries, chopped fine. Let simmer 15 minutes. Stirred brown bread. Measure 3 cups of graham flour into a large mixing bowl. Add 1 cup of bran and sift on to these 1 cup and 1/2 of white flour, to which 1 1/4 a teaspoonful of salt has been added. Stir together until mixed. Dissolve 1 teaspoonful of baking soda in a tablespoonful of hot water and add to 2 cups of buttermilk. Melt 2 tablespoonsful of butter and 1 of any preferred substitute. Mix with 1/2 a cup of molasses. Stir into the buttermilk and add all to the dry ingredients, stirring vigorously. Lastly, add 1/2 a compressed yeast cake to the batter and stir again until the yeast is thoroughly incorporated with the batter, which should be very stiff. Place in a greased bread pan. Cover. Set in a warm place until batter has risen to top of pan or doubled in bulk. Bake 1 hour in an oven with gradually increasing heat. This bread keeps fresh for a long time and is particularly good sliced thin for sandwiches. Sautéed cucumbers and tomatoes. Pare 4 large cucumbers and cut in 1/4-inch slices. Season by sprinkling with salt and pepper. Then dip in beaten egg and afterwards in fine sifted crumbs. Proceed in the same manner with 2 firm tomatoes, removing the skin by dipping first into boiling water, then into cold, and rubbing the skin off. The tomatoes should be cut in 1/2-inch slices. Heat a large spider until very cold. Add 2 or more tablespoons of dripping or other fat and sauté in this. First the cucumbers, then the tomatoes, turning the slices when browned on one side and cooking until crisp. Serve in a hot vegetable dish. Menus for Thanksgiving dinners. 1. 3-course dinner for small family. Roast chicken, stuffed with chopped celery and oysters. Baked sweet potatoes, boiled onions. Salad, fine chopped apples and nuts in red apple cups. Cream dressing. Mince or squash pie a la mode. Sweet cider. Coffee. 2. A simple company dinner of 6 courses. Celery, clam bouillon, saltines, ripe olives, roast chestnut stuffed turkey, giblet sauce, buttered asparagus, glazed sweet potatoes, molded cranberry jelly, chicken salad and salad rolls, Thanksgiving pudding, hard sauce, chocolate ice cream, strawberry sauce, assorted fruit, coffee. 3. A formal company dinner. 8 courses. Curled celery, oyster soup, breadsticks, radish rosettes, turbans of flounder, hollandaise sauce, potato straws, olives, crusty rolls, salted nuts, capon a la creme, stuffing of potatoes, mushrooms, chestnuts, mashed potatoes, green pea timbales, cranberry sauce, sweet cider frappe, venison steaks, currant jelly sauce, baked parsnips, apple and grape salad, macaroon pudding, frozen mince pie,